Welcome back to Talking Turf. Gary is en route, but I'll start the show. You've got 60 seconds. Got a lot to talk about. Go and grab a cuppa quickly. Yes, Gary.
Yes. You're looking a good fiddle tonight.
Yeah. Well, you got all the Toon fans on there saying, you only do it when you get a good result and stuff. But it's not. Obviously, I've been away. You were away. I didn't have any access to computers. I mean, I'm in this Talking Turf studio is looking a little bit worse for wear at the minute. But here we are.
No, we've had Christmas, we've had New Year. So Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks very much for joining us. All we'll do, right? Because the one with the date, the thing that we were trying to avoid it.
Then straight to Man U and Newcastle.
Straight to Man U and Newcastle. 100%. We'll flick through them fixtures. That's what we'll do quickly. So it was Leicester 0, Man City 2. Man City obviously getting back into winning ways. Tottenham drew with Wolves 2s each. Fulham drew 2s each with Bournemouth. Everton lost at home to the very impressive this season Nottingham Forest 2-0. Crystal Palace beat Southampton 2-1. Liverpool absolutely annihilated West Ham 5-0. Ipswich, which has got to be the surprise result of that weekend, beat Chelsea at home. They've never won at home. They beat Chelsea at home 2-0. Brentford got beat off Arsenal 3-1. Aston Villa drew 2s each with Brighton. A lot of 2s each there, and then obviously Old Trafford was Man United 0, Newcastle 2. How did he see that game, Gary?
Well, we started off, obviously Newcastle come flying, which we thought that is what would happen, and totally caught them off guard, to be honest. Obviously I've spoken to you, and I've spoken to a couple of other Newcastle fans since, and in my opinion, I thought that's the best team that I've seen at Old Trafford in that first 20 minutes for a long time. It was just the intensity of the attacks. They just didn't give a minute to breathe, I didn't think. And to be honest, after half an hour, we were probably lucky that it was just 2-0 and it wasn't any more. Having said that, we did come back into that game, and Newcastle fans have obviously said the same thing. That game could have quite easily turned on its head before half-time. Had Højlund went through and scored, you could feel it in the atmosphere. At Old Trafford, it started lifting and they were getting behind the players, but that goal just didn't come, and Newcastle kind of shut that game off in the second half, I thought, and they defended well. That's why they've got one of the best defensive records in the league.
Right, fair point. Newcastle are only behind, I think it's Arsenal, and let's have a quick look. Standing. Newcastle are only behind Arsenal and Liverpool for goals conceded. So they're hard to break down. My what do you call it on it? My take on it was that they did exactly what was needed. Like you say, they came out the first 20 minutes, absolutely battered. We were like a rabbit in headlights. Mm-hmm. Got 2 goals. That Isaac goal that was disallowed I was right behind it. It was an absolute screamer. It's one of them goals that you didn't probably want to get disallowed because You know, like it was that good. But
it was very similar to the one that
Martinez
Gakpo scored last night.
Aye. But like, what I didn't like was like afterwards, you know, all the Toon fans, they were bad idea. If Hoyland puts that away, right, and if Casemiro scores that, it's a totally different game. They brought Manu on and will control the midfield because prior to the game, Eddie Howe must have been looking at that team sheet and gone, that can't be right. Casemiro and Ericsson in the middle against Tonali, Bruno, and Linton. He must have been absolutely rubbing his hands. It's nearly a combination of 100 trying to stop like a prolific free. Straight away, as soon as I seen that lineup, I thought, what on earth is he doing? He brings Manu on, and the game totally changed. Whether it was a case of them taking their foot off the pedal a bit, which I didn't think they did. A lot of them are saying they did. I didn't think they did. I think because if that was the case, why is he not making substitutions? He's waiting until the 80th minute before he's made any subs. He's obviously felt like if we get a goal, then it's game on, and it would have been game on. But
I say, you could feel it in the ground, and you could feel it, and the crowd was trying to get behind them to get them back into the game. And it just needed that goal, I felt. It never came, and it's one of them games where, I mean, we've had a few of them this season, but I mean, credit Newcastle, they played really well, and that's why they're on the run. They're
playing really well. I mean, I'm looking at that run of results here, and it's all green. You know, like I've got to scroll down to see red. The last time they got beat was off Brentford 4-2. Following on from that, they beat Leicester 4-0, Brentford 3-1, Ipswich 4-0, Aston Villa 3-0, us 2-0, and then obviously this weekend. So, you know, I text them up to 5th in the league. They're definitely very much Eddie in at the minute. So hats off to you, well done. We didn't get on, but we'll see us in April where we'll return the favour, no doubt. Moving on, just quickly. Evening and Happy New Year. Melly and Gary wishing you both health and happiness. Pleased to see you got home safe and sound. Oh, we'll get to that.
Cheers, Jody.
Jesus.
All the best, mate.
Yeah, that was. Martin Kens, ho lads, Happy New Year. Good result for you yesterday. Happy New Year, Marv.
Aye, all the best, Marv.
Terry Hagland, hello lads, all the best. All the best to you too, Terry.
Same to you.
Rudy, lad, keep your coat on. It's cold where your team is. It's absolutely bottling in here, and I'm forgetting to leave the radiator on, so I came in, honestly. Jesus.
No.
I'm saying we played really well. If you scored before half time, it could have been different. Definitely. 100%. And Jordan
That's football.
Got in and said, Melly, you've got a bloody good coach. He'll do well next year. Better than that fraud you had. Come on, admit it. 100 million%. Got to get behind this coach. In fact, I'm going to let you talk here when we move on, because I don't know if you've seen it online. Andy Gray and Richard Keys. Have you seen what they said?
I know. I didn't read it, but I seen the caption, so I just didn't even entertain the click.
Aye.
You know, I was just coming down and I seen the caption underneath, and I just looked and I seen who it was, and I thought, seeing Man U want rid of him, I want to the Man United.
He's trying to get sacked. What an absolute good. All the best, Damien, lad. Thank you.
Aye, all the best, Damien.
Let's get the fixtures. Let's get the results up from this weekend. Starting off down in Tottenham. It was Tottenham 1, Newcastle 2. Could have been a lot different this game, I thought. Newcastle did well to come away with the 3 points. Although they did play, they played well, but that Joe Linton, it's a handball, isn't it?
I've had a few debates with people this weekend over this, and what my take on this is if that's in the box, right? They're given a penalty. Like say Tottenham's running the box and Joe Linton's hand's doing by his side there, and it hits his hand. You'll see a penalty given for that. So how it's not given is a free kick to Spurs. I get that it's not an unnatural position. It's not. Like, it is by his side, but you've gained a massive advantage by using your hand. Like, it should be a drop ball. Like, it's not a foul. It's not out else, but it's a drop ball at the minimum. Like, you stop the player there. He's stopped the counter attack from Spurs because Newcastle had about 5 or 6 forward at that point. Like, you could see the smother them. It's hit his hand, and they've gained a massive advantage from it. Like, and it's not anti-Newcastle, but it's like you've gained a massive advantage. That's why I think it's wrong. But just for that reason alone, I just think that he should have drop balled it and said, "Look, it's the same as it hits the referee. It's hit his hand. I get it. You don't think it's a foul, but you have gained an advantage for it. It's not basketball."
Not just that though. He's Joe Linton's then got on to commit 2 or 3 fouls, like, and without the booking. I didn't get it. It's so not out like it's changed the whole dimension of the game. Tottenham are leading 1-0, right? Then he doesn't handle it on purpose, but it hits his hand, which gives Newcastle a massive advantage. They got on in the score, and it changes the whole dimension of the game. Newcastle are very much then in the game. So I think what we need is just a bit of consistency, because, like, I mean, if you look at the profile picture that I put on here, it's Angie Postecoglou, whatever you call him, and I've never seen him that animated ever. He was absolutely livid, and he had it right in. Newcastle then gone on to win 2-1. We'll have a quick look at the stats. Not that stats mean much, but 57% possession to Newcastle's 43, 13 goal attempts to Newcastle's 14. But what did you make of Son and Madison starting on the bench? You think he made a mistake doing that?
I think that was because there had been like an illness through the camp. They did mention there was a lot said on that before the game. I think they were probably some of the ones that had been hit by it. So I think that was probably the reason for that. But I mean, shout out to that Bergwijn, the young 18-year-old. I thought he was outstanding, especially like you said before, against a really, really good Newcastle midfield, who's probably got like one of the best midfields on form at the minute. And he didn't
wanted to be on the ball all the time, didn't he?
He didn't shy away from anything, like, and I thought he was mint.
He was good to come off, but I think when he did come off and Basuma came on, I think it made a difference.
It changed again. It did. It was energy, wasn't it? It did. It did. You bring in Son and you bring in Madison, you bring Basuma around. You expect that, didn't you?
I think they were lucky not to get a draw, at least Tottenham. But Newcastle hold on. They get 3 points. They're up to 5th in the table. Geordie Toon for life there saying, "As Gary, it's the rules. It was unintentional." Ray Dunn doesn't agree with him. He's saying definitely an advantage using the hand.
It is. Because, like, you know, if it was in the box and he was defending and it hit his hand and it's done by his side, I get you're not going to give a penalty for it. But when you gain the advantage to score from it, it's totally different. That flips like 200 times. It's not the same.
Right.
It's not the same.
Terry Haglerton saying, "How many heaters you got in your shed milk and see your breath, bless you." It's just cold. It's cold. I should have maybe put installation. I didn't think at the time. Like, Joe Linton got booked. What about the tackles on Gordon de Braak? No yellow or red cards. I did think that was a naughty challenge on Gordon, like. But I think that the Brack one, the Brack, I think that's how you call it, is it was he had him. He's got a gun
for it. He's got a gun for it for that one.
But I agree with you. The Gordon one, definitely, it's a bit naughty. But it just seems to be the way that it was gone. That's what I'm saying. We've got probably one of the best leagues in the world. Yet, officiating is absolutely piss poor. And I don't know if that's because of them personally or because of like the rules that are in place. Like, are they complicating it too much? So they just let them go out referee and just if they think it's a foul blow, like this offside thing that they've got going on where they didn't put the flag up until like he comes back into play once that's stupid. You know, like just get the flag up, get the game moving, put it down. It's offside. Let's go again. It's just I don't know. I think the FA like they do with junior footballers. Like,
you know, the Gordon one.
Getting things.
I think if he hadn't have not given that handball against, I think someone's been lazier, and I think he knows he shouldn't have given that goal for the Joe Linton one, and he's kind of tried to level that up, because I think he would have given a pen if he hadn't have let that go. That's my opinion, but that's referees like all hour a minute. They're just shite.
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll move on from the Toon anyway, but good result. You're doing well. Southampton 0, Brentford 5. Sheared puts them in front, and then second half it's just an absolute free fall for Brentford. They have a goal disallowed, firstly, from Van der Berg. Mbemo scores twice within 7 minutes. Lewis Potter then scores in the 92nd, and Wissa scores again in the 94th minute. Southampton's as good as down, aren't they, mate? They're piss poor, aren't they? They're not doing enough.
No, they've just changed the manager. You're hoping, like 9 times out of 10, that creates a little bit of a reaction. You get a couple of wins here or there. It's just the same. It's obviously personnel, isn't it? They're struggling massively. They may as well give that guy a chance to prepare for next season. I would say, like, keep the ones that you want. Start looking who you want to bring in to build on. But they're as good as gone then.
It's going to take a miracle for them to get anywhere near.
There's too much quality in the other teams that's above them. That's the problem.
I mean, like, if you look at the nearest, poorest team to them, there's Wolves and Ipswich, who are both now picking up results.
That's what I'm saying. Not. They're not. No. And there's players that you would take over them teams and put in your own teams. Like, but with them,
John Ram's there saying there, you want to hope next Thursday doesn't bite you, because we've got them next Thursday. Be fucking typical, wouldn't it?
What they could be.
Right. Moving on, Man City back to winning ways, like I said. And I hope you didn't take Haaland out of your dream teams or your fantasy Premier Leagues, because 4-1 to beat West Ham. Koufal scores an own goal. Haaland just before half time. Haaland just after half time. And then Phil Foden finally getting himself a goal. Fulkrug scores for West Ham, a consolation. But City look like they've turned the corner, mate.
They did, but I didn't see the game. I'll be totally honest. But on Sky, they were saying on the score centre thing in the second half, apparently West Ham had like really, really good chances, like where they could. I think even before City scored, apparently West Ham had good chances to be like ahead. And if you look at the stats, City only had 4 goal attempts. I mean, that's low. Considering they've scored 4 goals and it's saying they had 3 on target. Mm-hmm. So you take that into context of City. That's what I mean. So you take that into the context of the game, 54%.
I think West Ham's poor as well. I can honestly see them sacking the manager. I don't think he's got it. You know, like
they've got that good player. They've got that Kudus. I think he gets into a lot of Premier League teams. He's really, really good. Obviously, they've got Bowen that's injured now with a fractured ankle or whatever. So they could be a one. I mean, for us, it's probably good because it keeps them below us.
Keith Farrier here saying, told you we would beat Tottenham. We can't win in London, because I said to them, yeah, I just kind of see you getting out. 1, it's Tottenham, and 2, Newcastle's pretty shit in London normally. But the proof is wrong, Keith, you were right, because he also said we would get a result against Liverpool. And that's, at that point, I thought, should I ring Morpeth St. George's, or should I just leave it at that? I don't think anybody expected to get out, to be honest. I've showed that he has a special mention, actually, to Chris Dobie, who got to the semi-finals of the World Darts Championships. Well done, Dobie. Next year, if you believe...
And he's in the Premier League. He's been put into the Premier League tonight.
Has he?
Premier League, Dobie.
Yeah,
well done, mate.
Good, son. Yes. At least Newcastle might win a Premier League at the last, eh? Southampton defense, donkey. Madman, they are absolutely floofed. Geordie Toon for Life says, Melly on Sky Sports News, the yellow ticker bar. This year's semi-finalist in the darts, Steve Bunton, chosen for Premier Leagues, but no mention of Dobie. Don't tell me Sky are not biased. Dobie, can you confirm if that's true or not? I doubt it. Not what you just saying that. Dobie's back in saying where Newcastle am I going to win the league. I tell you what, honestly, I'd rather you win it is Liverpool, and that's saying something. But
negative.
You not?
No.
I just didn't want Liverpool to win it. Honestly, I just didn't want Liverpool to win it. Newcastle, that they and Wheel, they're up there. And if you know what, if they're going for it, I think they'll get the Champions League again. I don't want to be biased, I know, but I honestly do. If they keep going the way that they're going, then they've definitely got a chance. They reckon Potter is in for West Ham, says Daniel Thompson. That would be an absolutely fantastic signing for me. I like Graham Potter. They reckon that's why Dan Ashworth is left United, because
he's got West Ham.
He didn't want a Morum. He wanted either Potter or
Southgate.
Eddie Howe. No, Eddie Howe. Didn't want Eddie Howe, like. Definitely not. Chris Dobie, cheers, lads, he says. Gary, behave, lad. And Terry Hagleton says, congratulations, Dobie, lad. Yes, congratulations indeed. You should get yourself, we should get like a little fan club going where we'll put a bus on, and then he's got his own, you know, like how everybody follows our football teams. At darts, you've only got the people that go and get dressed up, and everybody, just depends who's hitting 180s or they will, the crowd will support them. Nobody's
not when he's Toon top, though. I'm not wearing his Toon top.
No, we'll wear look little us. We'll scream for Dobie. Yeah, right. Next up, who we got? Crystal Palace 1, Chelsea 1. Chelsea taking an early lead through Cole Palmer. And then Mateta scoring the 82nd minute. An easy assist. Easy assist. You get it like that? Chelsea, they look like they could be having a title charge, didn't they? Like this time last month.
And then like
a couple of bad results, and they've got it in them to do that though, because if you remember, prior to them actually starting to pick up a bit of form, they were terrible, weren't they?
They were, but that's just the league in general, isn't it? It's like you put 3 or 4 like good like runs, like good wins, and then that's it. You're back up there. I mean, Bournemouth have slipped off a little bit. Look at Villa. Spurs is away. I mean, Spurs is only a point in front of us, and no one's even like heard out about them really. Win 2 or 3 games, and you're back in Europe. Basically, it's wide open apart from.
So, is what you're saying, Gary?
Won a title charge.
I will beat Southampton on the second half of the season in a title charge. Is that what you're saying?
Hey, I don't want to get excited, like.
Hey, we'll come to Man United, like, but honestly, what a day. Aston Villa, without any Champions League for the last month, have been doing absolutely fantastic. They obviously drew with Brighton, but they got beat off the Toon. But then they beat Man City 2-1, and then they beat Leicester yesterday again 2-1. They're starting to get a little bit of run of form back there now. The standings in the Premier League, they're back up to 8th, and they're only 4 points off the top 4. Rude has struggled, hasn't he, with Leicester? He got off to a canny start, but then he's struggled since. Yeah, let's just remind you of the results, Gary. He takes out and they beat West Ham 3-1, but since then they drew 2-2 with Brighton, lost 4-0 to the Toon, lost 3-0 to Wolves, the struggling Wolves. Got beat off Liverpool 3-1. Got beat off Man City 2-0. And then they're getting beat off Aston Villa 2-1. Do you think they're relegation material, or do you think they've got enough in the tank to steal?
I mean, them games that you said there, I think are difficult games. They look like they've gotten the worst, like, kind of few of the bad ones out the way. If you look, I mean, like 2-1 to Villa. City, Liverpool, Newcastle. You wouldn't expect them to get anything with them games anyway. They beat West Ham, which is the team who run them. So
they've got coming up. They've got obviously QPR in the FA Cup, and then they've got a kind of little run. To be fair, like they've got teams that they can be beaten. They've got Crystal Palace at home, and then Fulham at home. They play Spurs away, but then they've got Everton at home. So out of the next 12 points, if they could pick up what 7,
aye, then then you're up to 20 points there, 21 points. So I wouldn't write them off just yet because they've got Vardy, they've got goal scorer on the team. But it's a tough one this season. I think 30 points might keep you up.
Aye,
I think 30 points could keep you up this season.
Bournemouth 1, Everton 0. Not really a lot to talk about in that game. Everton haven't done too bad. I mean, they've lost the last 2 games, but the 4 games before that, they've got 6 points there, and they've played Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, and Wolves. Who are them 4? Who are the possible 12? And they've got 6 points. That's not bad. The last 2 games haven't been as good. They lost 2-0 to Forest, and then they've lost to Bournemouth, another team that could potentially struggle. They're sitting in 16th, and they're just 1 point off the relegation zone. Bournemouth winning again takes them up to 7th in the Premier League, Gary.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? 33 points. You couldn't make that up. I mean, you look at Nottingham Forest on 37 points. Like,
and now they've got a game in hand, and now they're playing the night, aren't they? They're playing Wolves the night.
Which means crazy.
The last man standing that will run for the Young'uns football team. George's picked City. They've won, and
he's got Forest.
Kev has picked Forest, so if Forest lose the night, it's George's.
Right.
And that's it. We'll get another last man standing started. Just shows you what the Premier League's about. We did this years ago with John Stratton and
a few times
for Trevor Ray's team, and you were lucky if we got 2 in a season.
No, it's Ganser everyone's capable of beating, aren't they?
Absolutely, mint. We're going down to the Amex next. Brighton 1, Arsenal 1. Nwaneri scores for Arsenal, and then João Pedro gets a penalty. Did you see the penalty?
I did.
Did you agree or not?
I mean, I can see why he's given the pin because he butts him, then he flicks the ball up, in my opinion. So I think it's head first, heads him, sticks the nut on him, then he flicks up, hits the ball. So I think the contact on the players before he heads the ball. So I can see why he's given it.
I think he's got to be right to go for the ball.
Yes.
And, you know, when 2 players are going to hit the ball, the heads are probably going to be in the same position. Do you know what I mean? He wins the ball, and then
but he's gone across the box, gets the ball, flicks it forward. He comes into the side of him, hits him in the side of the head, and then flicks the ball. So he's coming. If they're going in the same direction, I get it more, but it's because he's gone into them, so he sort of like T-bones him for me, and I don't know.
Right, it was given, and
he's got to win it. He's got to win it, I think,
for not to be a penalty.
For not to be a penalty.
Aye. 1 point for both teams. Hard going to go into either Amex as most.
To be fair, I mean, Brighton were lucky. I mean, they were pushing at the end. You know, they missed some good chances. So I mean, to win it. So I mean, if anything, I mean, Arsenal wouldn't be lucky that they get a draw. In my eyes, aye. 1,000,000%.
Like them, to be honest with you, mate. It's so I'm pleased I only got a point. Daniel Thompson saying Potter wouldn't be no good for you. Like, I like Potter. Yeah, I do. But I tell you what, I wouldn't give anybody the job at the minute over this man. I've got so much confidence in him, but we'll come to that. Happy New Year, lads. Toon, says your man.
Aye, Happy New Year, man.
This week. She says, when you coming to see your sister, Gary? Ross Barker says, Happy New Year. Do you guys think Arteta moans more than Wenger used to? I don't like him, Barker. I do not like the man. Like, if you notice, you know, like when the teams are playing, he's standing as close to the touchline as possible, and the lads are running by him up the wing and that. I just think, you're a manager, get back, stop putting teams off. Like, and just accept, like, when you didn't win or you draw or whatever, you're just a bad loser, and people don't like that. I think he's toned it down this year a little bit because of that, because I think he was getting a lot of grief, like a lot of people and everybody was going against him. So I think he's had to tone it down. He has a little bit, but
no, he has. But I mean, I don't understand how a man with that sort of IQ, that's obviously, he must be intelligent. He's a Premier League footballer, right? And he doesn't know what them white lines mean.
Aye.
Like
he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, mate.
Stay within that box. Not outside, anywhere within.
Sometimes people got to take throw-ins,
man. He's grabbing the ball. He's grabbing the ball. And you're like, get out of the way.
Honestly.
Nah. He's not a very likeable coach, I don't think.
Nah. We'll stay in London. Fulham posted Ipswich. Ipswich are obviously on a good run here. They've just beat Chelsea 2-0. They're going down to Fulham. They're taking a lead through Smorix. But Raul Jimenez gets a penalty, ones each. Delap gets a penalty, scores it, converts it. It's 2-1 to Ipswich. There's 4 minutes of injury time added on. And Fulham get a penalty. Jimenez steps up, shares the points. Fulham 2, Ipswich 2. Good point for Ipswich, although they could have had all three.
I mean, we had a stinker of an... we were hoping to get Toon to watch this match before, obviously, we played Liverpool. But obviously, due to the weather and the trains and that, we never got a chance to. So we didn't see this game. But according to the crack, apparently, very, very soft penalties, wasn't it? According to the lads in the groups and that, so...
Who's the ref? Referee D. Bond. Must be James's cousin, I think. Spoil the shed. Let's go down Anfield and round up before we take a break. And then we're going to talk about the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, and the next weekend's fixtures, which is the FA Cup, obviously. Liverpool 2, Man United 2. I don't think there's anybody watching. I don't think there's anybody in the land that could say to you that they thought that this game was going to end 2-2 and Man United fans would leave disappointed that they didn't win this game. How did you see this game, Gary?
Well, in a nutshell, exactly what you said there. I mean, I'm never as optimistic as what you are. I kind of like wear my heart and receive a little bit. I kind of like try and like set myself up for these like upsets. But even after the first 5-10 minutes, you could just tell that we were up for this. The first 20 minutes were into them, were creating chances, were flying in with tackles. It was like, it's the first time I've like watched it. I mean, it's when you get a slick pitch as well, and the ball's flying across the pitch. And it's the first time I've seen these players and they were flying into tackles. It looked like a proper derby. And I'm always critical of Michael Oliver and like ERSL. And when these tackles were flying in and he was just letting it go, and I just thought it was mint to watch. It was absolutely brilliant to watch. And I've spoken to a few people the day. Chris, obviously, up at Care Plastics, and then they said against. Now it is against one of the best games of football that I've watched in a long time. He says it was absolutely mint. And like, that's probably the best we've played in the last 3 years. I would say, and took it to them, a team that people are petrified of at Anfield, petrified, and we never once looked like we were just settling for a draw. Like that guy on the train on the way home, he turned around and he went, you know what is he guns? 90 minutes he guns, and he's thinking, we might get one here, and he guns. Total opposite he guns. It just looked like Man United still wanted to win that game. They had a corner and we were just boom up the other end, and we should have won it. We should have won it.
Definitely. Let's just quickly tell people like how our day consisted. So we're up at 7, getting picked up at 8, get to the train station for 9. We're headed to train for 10. We get to all the trains is cancelled just about, but we manages to get to Doncaster for the catching train to Lime Street. That got cancelled. So then we thought we've got to get to Sheffield. Sheffield's our best option to get to Liverpool. So we jumps on this coach to get to Sheffield, which was taken with to was it Manchester or Lime Street? I can't remember. But anyway, we get on the coach and they said, when we get to Manchester, they said the term's terminating here. It's not gone down to Lime Street. We were like, fuck no. So we're phoning an Uber. We'll get to an Uber. It's 3:30 at this point. The game's kicking off in an Uber. We're stuck in Stockport. Jumps in an Uber. We've got this guy doing like 80, 90 mile an hour for an extra tip all the way doing the 62. Halfway doing, he jumps through. He thinks he's got a puncher. He can't make it up. We're thinking, nah. And he's saying, no, the lights, they're not these heater lights.
That's what your tyres.
There's no matter with them. Honestly, I'm busters. Get to Liverpool and I'll show you. Like, it's fine. Just get your foot. With no power. I says, you've got power.
He was going to get a chokehold on money.
Right? He literally drops off at Anfield at 25 past 4. We'll run, get one ticket. We're just getting the grunt to hear the whistle. Wow. I'm thinking, I hope this is worth it. And I turned to Gary after 5 minutes and I give him the nod because you can tell when Man United are going to play. And they were up for it. And I thought, we're in for a game here. And that's all we want. You know, like people think like, oh, we're spoiled. We want to win everything. No, man, we just want them to turn up. For the money that they're making, we just want them to turn up. Ruben Amorim has, for the first time, had 5 full days of training this team, right? And what a difference was seen in 5 days. I tell you what, Arsenal, you just want to be looking out because he's got another 5 days new. And if they turn up like the way they did then, you are not doing anything with us next weekend. That stupid Arnie Snot came on and said, oh, we'll find it hard to defend the long ball. Like, I've got this stats in front of us now. Long ball. Like, so passes, Liverpool had 420 passes and they completed 351. We played a long ball, but we created 380 passes. But that's not long ball to me. That is giving it to you, mate. And you couldn't handle it. You were lucky to be in the game. Yes, you had your little spell there when we scored, and you got your backs up. You scored 2 goals. You were gifted 1 with a penalty because we had a very similar one, not too much longer, and it wasn't given. But then we just know what it is. We just rolled our sleeves up, put our collars up, and we just went at them. And I tell you what it is. We should have
had the best chances. Had the best chances in the game.
We should have won the game. I didn't, honestly, I messaged Brad and said, I think we're going to win 2-1. And he was like, oh, I wish. I doubt it. Like, I just had a good feeling. Honestly, I did. I honestly thought we were going to kick on from the City result, right? And it didn't. It went the other way. This result yesterday, both the manager and the captain of the club have come out and said, we need to do this week in, week out. Yes, you do. And I tell you what it is. If they give 80% of what they give yesterday, that'll be too much for the majority of the Premier League teams. Honestly,
well, I'm hypercritical of Bruno, like all the time. But you know why I am, because I know how good he is.
He can be.
I know how good he can be. And yesterday, like it's the first time in a long time I turned around and I said, he was outstanding today, and he was unreal. He was unplayable. But when somebody can play that well and just putting in shitty fucking performances, and he's meant to be your captain, that's why I'm critical of him, and that's why I'm saying he shouldn't play and he should be out of the team. But when you turn up and you do that, you're the first team on you're the first player on that team sheet. But you should be.
I got a reason for the training ground. I think it's because of me. I got a hard him at the training ground. I says, you just need to believe in yourself. Like, you're playing for one of the biggest teams in the world. Just believe. Majority of clubs expected Man United to beat them. Like, but now, because of that doing on the look, they're turning up and they're just, you know what I mean? Now, if they score a goal or 2 goals in the first 20 minutes like Newcastle did, we cannot score. And you know when we're doing, it just gets worse and worse. When you turn up like you did, like anything can happen. And that should be the least they're doing for the money that these lot are making. People keep saying, like this is about the money and that, and they're human beings. At the end of the day, like there is other jobs out there. You can go and bricklayer, you can go and plaster, fit windows, carpets. You haven't got to be at the biggest club in the fucking world and picking up 300 grand a week. There is jobs out there for everybody. So if you don't want to do it and you're not up for it, just can't do that. But if you want it, if you want that money and you want everybody to be like, then you've got to
worship in you.
You've got, like that's the least you should be doing, man. You're privileged.
Well, the thing is because if you image that game and say, right, so against Newcastle, right, if they showed that same intensity in that first 20 minutes and they closed them and pressed them the exact same way that they've done against Liverpool, and they were flying into challenges and they didn't get in the space, that would have probably turned into the same game.
100%.
But why are you waiting for a derby when your fans is like up high? You should be doing in front of 75,000 fans, man. Week in, week good. And then they will be behind you, and they will be cheering you, and they will drive you through games.
See, the criticism I've got of Old Trafford, Gary, is that it does attract a lot of tourists. And you've seen that when they brought Xerxes off because they booed him, and that's wrong. It doesn't matter if he's crap or not. You didn't boo your own. Whereas yesterday you've got 3,000 hardcore United fans were singing his name, chanting his name. Like, if you're Ruben, you're putting your arm That's what you mean. That's what you mean to people. Like, forget about Old Trafford. Old Trafford is actually becoming poison for the players. As soon as something's not going their way, they're getting on their backs and they think it's easy just to like start booing them or hissing them. Or no, man, it shouldn't be like that. You should be behind the team. It's just. But this is what you get. This is what you get when you know, like, you're doing away with proper season ticket holders who's had them for years, and you're trying to replace them with, like, need disrespect to the Chinese, you know, but Chinese or, you know, like, just because there's a lot of them.
Europeans, there's a lot of Eastern Europeans and that.
The video we're in, and like, just watch it at home. What was the point in wasting your money and your day? You could have just watched it at home.
But on the other side of that, if you can turn with performances like that, don't fucking whinge when you get dragged off after 30 minutes because you were shit.
Aye.
Put that performance in, and then didn't give anyone a chance to criticise you. That should be average.
If he didn't have what happened to him doing on his confidence, he's shooting in that position, but he didn't. He shit his pants. He didn't want the grief.
But he made the right pass. He did make it.
But you know, like, if that's Rasmus Højlund or Garnacho or Ahmad, they're firing it in the goal, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Or they're getting the shot away. Rasmus actually misses a one-on-one with Allison. I didn't even say that till the day. Right, we'll hit the adverts quickly. We'll come back.
You did, but it was right on half time, wasn't it? Because you come down and told us. You see, we've dismissed it because I went for the drinks. You must have been pissed. I'll tell you that.
Right, we'll be back in 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Watch the ads and sponsor the lads. Thank you. If you'd like to advertise with us like these following businesses have done, then get in touch with Melly or Gary. It's only $5 a show, and we're hitting on average, I would say, between 10 and 20,000 people per month. Support us, and we'll help support you. Melly's Carpets in Bed, 63 Station Road in Ashington. Free measures are available daily. You can call 01670 632216 or find us on Facebook. Melly's Carpets in Beds. Laying our reputation, one recommendation at a time. BA Commercials and Northeast Metals Limited, where you can get almost any used car part. The best prices is paid here for scrap vehicles and metals. They have containers to rent short and long term from just £30 per week, as well as plant hire and also commercial buildings for rent. Call during working hours on 07825 405 772. GB Glazing and Joinery Limited, based in Ashington, Northumberland, but covering the whole of the Northeast. CERTAS approved, who specialise in windows, doors, warm roofs, kitchen, conversions, and conservatories. Call Gary during working hours on 07825 160 777. A1 Fire Stopping and Drilling Services, who specialise in installation and maintenance of passive fire protection, fire stopping, and thermal installation systems. You can email your query to Martin. That's at martin.gallen@a1firestop.co.uk, or call during working hours on 07751 429 045. A1 Fire Stopping Services. Ashington Properties, whose company mission is to create high-quality homes for the local community and Northumberland, and whose company values are transparency, trust, and loyalty. you can email them at ashingtonproperties@gmail.com or call during working hours on 07985 203 094. And last but not least, most cuts. You can call Lewis on 07519 077787. You can find him on Facebook, and you can also book through the Booksy app. You'll find them down in Newbiggin on Front Street, straight opposite Chisholm Bookmakers. Always look fresh when you get cut off Moz. Gary, tonight, well, in half an hour, we've got Wolves against Forest. How do you see that, God?
Wolves at home.
Wolves are at home.
I'm gonna go for a Wolves win, 2-1.
I'm going for a Desmond Tutu. Just quickly, I'll screen this. Coming soon, we have Manchester's #1 hooligan from back in the day, Sam Smart podcast. Not one to miss. Hopefully, going to get that on this week. Sam was a part of the firm back in the day. He was also the first black firefighter in Manchester. He's going to talk about that and racism within the fire brigade, but also his days on the terraces. He's definitely a character and a very, very likable guy. That is coming soon to Talking Turf. This week, Gary, we've got the AFL Cup, obviously, up tomorrow night. Is Arsenal at home against Newcastle. How do you see that, Gan?
You know what it is? We didn't talk about the highlight of the Man U game there, you know.
What?
Do the followers now, but you need goggles and snorkel to get to Anfield. Have they seen it?
No matter what stadium you get to, if you get torrential rain, it'll leak. It's not just Old Trafford.
What was it like?
Wasn't it?
Aye. Even in the directors' boxes now, where all the posh seats are, with the leather seats behind the dugouts, the seats were end up empty because they were having to move and they were going to sit in boxes behind because the weather was pissing through the roof.
That is the new stadium as well. That's the new bit of the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't make it up.
Unbelievable.
I got hammered off them on TikTok. There was loads of them beasting us. Get that over here. Parker saying, I think you guys will be a lot higher up at the end of the season. The issue is the players seem to raise themselves for the Man City Liverpool games, definitely, and not the lower teams. Go on, Melly, says Wojak. Go on, Jack, lad. Arsenal against Newcastle. How do you see it going?
Arsenal's suffering with a few injuries. Swinging towards Newcastle, to be honest.
Newcastle's got just as many. Arsenal's got Nwaneri, Saka, Sterling, Tomiyasu, and White. Newcastle's got Kraft, Lascelles, Pope, Shaw, and Wilson.
You know the issue with Arsenal's? It's the whole of the right-hand side. Yeah. And I look at that straight away and I just think your whole right-hand side's been took out by White, Saka, and Nwaneri that's come in to like compensate for that. And they're putting Martinelli out there, but it doesn't work the same. And then I think Martinelli works better off the left, and then they're putting Trossard out there. I think it's a little bit too disjointed. I think Newcastle's going to beat them, you know.
Do you? I don't think Newcastle will beat them tomorrow, but I think Newcastle will gone through. I think
they'll get at least a draw tomorrow.
2-1 Arsenal tomorrow, I think. And then Newcastle will beat them 2-0 at home.
I'm going to go Newcastle 2-1 tomorrow.
2-1.
I think they'll beat them probably 2-1 again.
Billy Noble.
It'll be close games
tomorrow night. Nice to see Billy on there. Not give him a grief for a change. Wednesday, AFL Cup, you've got the other tie, which is Tottenham and Liverpool. I think Liverpool beat them 3-1 at Spurs.
I think it's one of them games you just expect goals, don't you?
Goals. Tottenham concede, but you know
they can score, can't they?
They can score.
They're not a bad side to watch. Spurs and Liverpool, like they allow teams the way they play, they allow teams to come at them as well as they do, and they're just vulnerable. I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2.
Aye.
Right. And then Thursday, the FA Cup kicks off. It's a FA Cup weekend, if you didn't know. Sheffield United against Cardiff. Was going for results.
Sheffield United.
Actually, we'll see scores. Go on.
2-0 Sheffield United.
I'm gonna go for 1-0 to Cardiff. Everton against Peterborough.
3-1 Everton.
Yeah, I think probably. I'll go 2-0 Everton. Fulham Watford.
London Derby. I'll go 2-1 Fulham.
Yeah, I'll mirror that. Friday, you've got Wickham against Portsmouth. Good game,
Ooh, it is. Is that replays or not?
I don't know. If somebody can let one know in the comments, that'll be mint.
I don't know if it was just a Corn Cup or if it was this as well, where they said there would be no replays this year. We're just going straight to
Would make sense. Like, it would make sense.
I'm going to say Wickham on pens.
Wickham on pens. If it comes to pens.
If not, I think it's draw.
Wickham's.
They're flying high in there.
Wickham will win. Portsmouth are struggling away from home. Wickham's obviously in the lower division, but I can see them winning. I'm going to go 2-1 to Wickham. Aston Villa against West Ham. No replay, says Geordie Toon for life.
I don't think there was. I can't see I'll put a Villa win there.
Villa win?
Villa win. 2-1.
2-1. Yeah, I think Villa will win 3-0. Saturday, FA Cup. Jesus. We're just going for
what I've seen there. I forgot about that.
Peterborough should be interesting. Potentially Ashley Young playing against his son. That's the beauty of the FA Cup.
It is. I had forgotten about that, but that's right.
That's mint, isn't it?
I hope he is.
Be good
if Sean Dyche,
I mean the son.
If Sean Dyche and the other manager doesn't make that happen, then they're arseholes.
I know.
They've got to make that happen.
They've got to make that happen. 100%. Just pick teams here, Gary, because there's loads to get through. Birmingham, Linton. Birmingham, yeah. Bristol City, Wolves. Middlesbrough and I'll go and Bristol City on that one. Middlesbrough, Blackburn.
Borough.
Borough's on a good run on the Dean, all right. Liverpool and Accrington. Hey, Milk Williams. Drink this milk, you'll play for Liverpool, lad. No, Accrington. Who's Accrington Stanley? I'm going to have a Liverpool. Leicester, QPR.
Leicester.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm not. I'm going QPR. Bournemouth, West Brom.
Bournemouth.
Brentford, Plymouth.
Brentford.
Chelsea, Morecambe.
Chelsea.
Exeter and Oxford United.
I'm going to get a home win.
I'm going Oxford. Norwich, Brighton. I'll go Norwich. Nottingham Forest, Luton.
Forest.
Preston and Charlton.
Pens. Preston win.
I'll go Charlton. Reading and Burnley. Sunderland and Stoke.
Sunderland.
Leeds and Harrogate.
That's a derby, that, isn't it?
Aye.
Leeds will beat them. Aye.
Yeah. Man City against Salford, although like Salford's end's gonna be absolutely jam-packed.
1,000,000% Salford.
Yeah, Salford.
You can't Sheffield.
I'll go in Coventry. They're normally quite good, aren't they?
Nah, Lampard's gonna get his limbs.
Leighton Orient and Derby.
Leighton Orient.
I'll go in Derby. Mansfield, Wigan. Sunday, FA Cup. Hull, Doncaster.
Hull.
Yeah, I think Hull as well. Tamworth against Tottenham.
Spurs, you've got to fancy them for that. And they get Angel get his win.
Crystal Palace against Stockport.
Palace.
Ipswich, Bristol.
Bristol Rovers. Ipswich.
Newcastle against Bromley. Southampton, Swansea.
I'm gonna go Swansea.
I'm going Swansea. And then the most important one, Arsenal against Manchester United.
Man United.
You didn't have to think about that, did you?
Nah.
We're going to give it to them.
What's rain one?
Monday, Millwall against Dagenham. The wrong one, you fucking idiot.
No, we get there earlier.
Mate. Millwall against Dagenham and Redbridge.
Millwall.
Yeah, definitely. Right, so just quickly before we leave, obviously there's no Premier League until next week, but we will do another one before then. I'm going to present this screen. Just make sure there's a note on there that shouldn't be. No. Share screen. X. Boom. So we'll just quickly flick through some transfer news. If anybody's got any, hide in the comment section now. But for confirmed, Juventus are top contenders to sign Randall Kolo Muani from PSG. Man United and Tottenham are also exploring a loan deal for the striker. That's from David Ornstein. What else? Juventus are considering allowing Douglas Luiz to leave on loan this month with an obligation to buy inserted. Crystal Palace are ready to make a bid of around 22 million to sign Joe Bellingham from Sunderland. That, if it happens, is absolutely huge for Sunderland. Yes, they're going to lose a big player, but to get 22 million pound, that could potentially secure the promotion to the Premier League because they'll be able to.
I think if that gets like even nearly accepted, I think bigger teams look at him.
Do you?
1,000,000%. Crystal Palace will not get him.
It's good for Sunderland anyway.
It is. You want to bid more.
Manchester United are in contact with Nuno Mendes representatives. Aside from Manchester United, 3 other top clubs are also interested in him. A number of clubs are interested in signing Marco Asensio. Juventus are interested in signing Ronald Araujo on loan from Barcelona. Juventus want Tyrell Malacia. See you, Tyrell. See you. Julian Lopetegui is set to be sacked as West Ham manager. Graham Potter is in talks to take over. Robbie Keane's the new manager of Hungarian side Ferencváros. Virgil van Dijk was offered to Real Madrid in the summer, but they rejected the chance to sign him. So would I. He's an absolute goon. I hate him. Arsenal want to beat Tottenham and Liverpool to the signing of Omar Marmoush for 50 million. Newcastle and Man City have concrete interest in Kushanov from wherever. Isak Kabori has joined Werder Bremen on loan for the rest of the season from Man City. We'll finish on these two. Rodriguez is now a free agent after terminating his contract with Raul Valencio. And Emmanuel Agbadou is undergoing his Wolves medical in France. I was hoping that would be a little bit of Newcastle transfer news, but not one bit there has come up. I think what they are interested in is Trafford, the goalkeeper. I have seen that.
The thing is, I think that Dubravka's done mint for them.
He has, but like if he gets injured, what they're gonna do? They've got now really his backup, whereas Newcastle's always been
not on the bench, though, is he not?
No, injured.
No. Look, that David Ornstein, and I were just saying this, so I had a quick look. But that David Ornstein was saying in the last hour that Spurs, Man United, and Juventus in Kola Manu. Is that who you said before? Is that what you said?
Muani.
Aye. On loan. So what does that mean though for them? Does that mean that it is Rashford on his way out, or?
I think Rashford has to go. I think it's time.
I just didn't think he's got the offers there that he thought he would have. That seems to be the
Saudis want him,
sticker.
but that doesn't
doesn't
suit
go
his
down
lifestyle. You can't go no drinking in Saudi Arabia.
Aye, living the party
Waggling
life.
gold on your neck and think you're King Dick when people like your money is an absolute drop in the ocean to what these lot own.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're not too, you know.
You know,
Either that
it's
or he needs to pick his lip up and realize how privileged he is, but get rid of all the hangers on that he's got. I'll tell you what, everybody, quickly before we're gone. I don't know if you've seen it, but gone on Prime, and there's a program on it with Gaza. Not the old one that's always been. Watch it. It's about 2.5 hours long. It's class. And it shows you, if you've got the wrong people around you, it doesn't matter how good of a player you are, it'll absolutely ruin you. Honestly, it's a mint watch out. Absolutely mint. Josh Robson saying that Ornstein's the man to keep up to date with for rumours. He's normally spot on. He does. He doesn't lie. He's just, he puts it there with what he's heard. So, and obviously, rest in peace to Calf. Reception Calf. It was a funeral today, and the whole of United squad turned up. All the class of '92. Beckham was there. The whole lot. It was
Rashford there? I've seen everyone but him.
I didn't see, I didn't see. Shocking if he wasn't, though, to be fair. But well, anyway, Gary, that is another hour done on Talking Turf. It's flew by as it always does. I want to thank everybody for coming on. Good crack. We're going to do that Sam Smart podcast this week as well. We'll be back next Monday at the same time with a roundup of the FA Cup results and look forward to the midweek fixtures in the Premier League. Thanks, Gary.
Neighbour Thomas, and I'll see you at Arsenal on Sunday.
Yes, thanks everybody. Yes. All the very best for 2025.
We must be mad, us,
No, not mad, man. You can't help it. We fell in love with you. This is what I keep telling Leanne. It's just, it's love. Good night.